Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I bring to you a video on the budget Kushala melee build with no Kushala armor. This video features the best budget build for the Kushla Daora melee weapons. This build requires no Kushala armor and can use armor that you may already have built. So you may already have some of these pieces because you don't need Kushala armor for them. We will also compare the difference in damage with the Kushala melee weapons versus Legiana melee weapons. Alright, let's jump right into it. This is the best budget Kushala build. This is the best build for the Kushala melee weapons that do not require other skills to unlock their potential. This build has a theoretical practical damage assessment of 3,895. So here's the thing, the Kulu helm can be used in place of the Kuro Puke Puke helm if you don't have it. The Kuro Puke Puke helm is a subspecies armor. So if you don't have that, again, use the Kulu helm because you need that. You get it really early on in the story when you play the game, and you could substitute it. It won't do as much damage, but the drop-off isn't as noticeable as you would not having a Kuro Puke Puke Grade 8 helm. This build applies to the following weapon types: Sword and Shield, Greatsword, Longsword, Hammer, Dual Blades, Charge Blade, and Lance. The Gunlance has a different build, so I'm going to mention that later in the video. So, outside of the Gunlance, this applies to pretty much all the other melee weapon types. To use this build, you need a Kushala melee weapon at grade 8, preferably grade 10 or higher, if you can get there, or again, just grade 8. The Kuro Puke Puke helmet at grade 8, the Barrieth mail at grade 6, Barrieth fan braces at grade 6, Legiana coil at grade 6, and the Kulu Yaku greaves at grade 6. Next up, we will compare the budget build versus the best build. So here is the difference between the best and the budget Kushala melee builds. We have the set with the best with a Kushala piece and one that does not. And the difference is very minimal. Literally, it's close to just 1%, which is 1.18% to be exact. As far as damage goes, it's like I'm not going to math because I hate mathing with anything more than 4 numbers and nothing that's easy. But this means the budget build will still perform well against ice weak monsters and can be used long term if you do not wish to build Kushala armor. So it's perfectly fine if you want to use this one instead of using a Kushala weapon. I get it, okay? I have done over 4,000 raids in Pokemon Go. I founded a Pokemon Go community that was mainly centered around raids for the first time around. Then we slowly went to community. But I acknowledge not everyone is going to have the best weapons or the best Pokemon or be really good. So you're going to have some that are inexperienced, etc. So if you're working towards it, work towards this first and then think about going after the hard stuff. Baby steps. But also acknowledge what you think may be better might not be better. And there might be arguments for why there's something the best. If there is an argument for something why there is the best and you don't want it, you can't go after the best. If you don't have it or the best, you can't really accurately say like, oh my gosh, like you're going to have a very skewed view of those that do have the best weapons because you won't have any experience using the best weapons, if you know what I mean. With that being said, you could choose to replace anything in this build with bonus skills that fit your style. Exact example right here, Diablo's Greaves for Slugger level 2. So if you want to switch out the Kulu legs for this build or customize it however you want, there's going to be a little bit of drop off. Like as long as you don't sacrifice elemental attack 5, you're fine, but you can do that as well anyways. Again, just customize it according to what your personal playstyle is and what you like to do best, whether it be more focused for Greatsword or quick work for the Charge Blades and the Longsword. Now that we got that sorted away, here's the budget Kushala Gunlance build. This build is specifically for the Gunlance. Gunlance build prioritizes artillery over ice attack. However, elemental Gunlances are best used when using all of the Gunlance's capabilities. If you are working towards being the best Gunlancer, you're using Wormstake Shot, Burst Fire, and Charge Shot all in conjunction. So you're using all of them in synergy to do the most maximum amount of damage you can do for a battle. If you're using the Charge Gunlance style, you're better off building a different long ammo Gunlance, as Kushala Gunlance is expensive and you aren't taking advantage of elemental weakness. Shelling does not apply to crit or elemental, so it does not, again, shelling does not crit or apply elemental damage, so there's no point of you using an elemental build. At the same time, artillery is only possible at level 3 right now. I don't know why, but like it seems that like Gunlance users have this really skewed view. 20% isn't a lot. It really isn't. Like burst 5 at 30%, like that's 10% more. But artillery 3, even at 40%, it's not really that like big as far as like damage wise goes. Like I think for some like especially charged Gunlance users, they're like it's like 200% instead of 20%. No, it's 20%. 20% is not a lot. But if you're looking to get better at everything the Gunlance has to offer, this build requires you to have the Kushla Daora Gunlance at grade 8 or higher, preferably grade 10 or higher, or as high as you can get it. The Coral Puke helmet at grade 8, the Pasarios mail at grade 5, Buried Fan Braces at grade 6, Legiana coil at grade 6, and the Pasarios Greaves at grade 5. And last but not least, let's compare the Kushala versus Legiana melee weapons. Here we analyze Legiana, which is the next best ice elemental weapon after Kushala. Per the data, Legiana melee weapons only do a small amount less than Kushala weapon melee weapons. A little over 5% to be exact. Well, 5.26 if you want the exact number. The thing about the Legiana weapons though, you take away the 3 and the 0, that's a very nice number. But you're going up to 3,000, Legiana weapons will give you 3,690, while Kushala weapons will give you 3,895. Therefore, there isn't a massive difference if you stick with Legiana, as it is the best accessible option for players who don't do Elder Dragon Interceptions frequently. If you're looking for an ice elemental weapon, Legiana, you can track it. It is in swamps. It's better for you to go after Legiana. It's also had events before, so it might have events later on as well. So again, Legiana is good. You don't have to worry about too much as far as drop-off difference. As you see in maximum power, it's literally 5%. There's really little of a difference. So if you don't do Elder Dragon Interceptions frequently, that Legiana weapon is still going to do really well for you. For Charge Blade users, this might be closer than you think due to Legiana having elemental damage files and Kushala having impact files. Now here's the thing, I get it why Kushala has impact files because that's how it was in the main series games. Main series games has impact files, that's specifically for stun. So you could switch out your Kulegs for Slugger 2 and then use it in conjunction with that to stun Kushala. Or not stun Kushala, stun every weapon, every monster you come across using the Kushala weapon because it has impact files. So it's a cool little hybrid thing. But if you're looking at the damage thing, again, it's probably closer than you think just because of the elemental files. So for Charge Blade users, maybe Legiana might be better for you if you just want to go with pure elemental damage versus having a kind of fancy hybrid build like the one I mentioned. Hopefully this video helps you decide what to invest in for the Kushala melee weapons. As like I mentioned, you can use Legiana just fine. If you don't have any Kushala gear, there's not a huge difference, so don't worry about it. And to put it realistically, even if you are using budget armor, Kushala weapons aren't budget friendly. It's an interception exclusive weapon. I have killed over 50 Kushala right now. I can attest to how difficult it is, and I'm a solo player, so that makes it even harder because I'm driving around going to all these points. Luckily, because of all the raids I've done in Pokemon Go and all the gold gym taking, I know my area like the back of my hand, so I know where all my gyms are, etc. So I have an even easier time than someone who's never raided or played Pokemon Go at all in my area. So I have an even huger advantage or bigger advantage than someone who has very little experience doing interceptions or mass raiding in Pokemon Go. Again, it's perfectly fine if you're using the Legiana weapons. The difference isn't super huge, so you don't have to worry about not having the Kushala ones. Please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully this budget build really does help you out. Hopefully all your drops are going really, really well. You're getting all those Wyvern Gem Shards, or for those of you that are doing interceptions a lot like me, those Daora Rarity 6 horns. Because I need a lot more to max out my Kushala weapon because I'm already done with all my armor I need for my bow. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.